You've got a controversial question. Maybe I'll have a controversial answer.
Is Tim Hortons worth the hype?
Oh, no. Pick or fingerstyle? I play pick when I do bass. I mean, I switch it up. I'm just trying to learn every different way I can play because I think of it very simply. There's no way that learning both pick and fingerstyle makes me a worse bassist. Entry-level bass guitars. Is that Affinity series? Yes. Modified though. These are DiMarzio pickups. And the bridge has been replaced with a, not badass, what's the company? Hipshot, the Hipshot Kick-Ass. Since getting a badass bridge these days is really expensive. The new Squiers are feckin' great. As I've come to learn, prowling around Reddit and everything, the prevailing opinion seems to be that most entry-level instruments these days are just fine. It seems that a lot of the growing pains that were experienced by these new factories, like Southeast Asia and stuff, that often resulted in them getting a bad name, have been mostly sorted out. And the manufacturing process has been figured out and refined better throughout the world. And I think that's led to almost like this revolution in how good quality even entry-level and intermediate-level basses are. Developing a streaming persona. Yeah, I used to be completely muted when in song. Stream got a lot better when I could talk more. Or at least more successful anyways. I also have a lot more fun things on the stream now that I enjoy. The emote walls and the dances. I have a lot more fun on the stream now. But I think a lot of that has to come from just being on screen and being more comfortable with that presence in general. Having a public persona. I don't listen to new music. I used to listen to new music when I went on runs and stuff, but I found too often that when I was running, I would just end up running to the pace of whatever music I was listening to. So I had to stop listening to music. I listened exclusively to like podcasts. One of the main times I used to listen to new music just doesn't exist anymore. And when your tastes become narrow because you don't listen to anything outside your like little tiny corner of synthwave at all, it's nice to have requests coming from a channel on Twitch where people sometimes pay me money to play. Hard to complain. Rush 2112 B-sides. The 2112 B-sides I love. Not just 2112. Although I play that an unhealthy amount of times on this channel. Maybe I'll do it for Shredfest sometime. The entire album. Missing out on an RTX 3090 at MSRP. It was sold by Canada Computers. It was an hour away, ready for pickup today. And it was bundled with a motherboard I didn't need. It was a 690 motherboard, which I do want to make a 12900 build, but this was specifically a DDR4. So half the benefit of stepping up to the 690 platform is not there. And I swear it was in my cart for 10 minutes with me humming and hawing about whether I wanted to drive an hour away and pick up a 3090 bundled with a motherboard I didn't want, knowing that I would have to sell that motherboard. Of course, in the 10 minutes it took me to decide that, it was snatched up probably by a bot. I had it in my cart. I was in checkout, about to hit checkout and punch in my pay information, and I blew it. I could have just made Pixie a new computer out of that motherboard, but no, I had to be like, no, I want a DDR5 motherboard. Yeah, I should have went for it. I mean, I could have just tried to sell that motherboard even if I didn't build a computer out of it. It was really stupid of me not to. Switching to an in-frame mic. I kind of broke when I decided to do this microphone because I've been playing with a triangle of bad things. I play through speakers instead of through headphones, and I was playing through a shotgun mic instead of an up-close mic to keep the mic out of frame. And I was doing it with a cheap shotgun mic. And I don't think you can accomplish all of those things at once. You either have to use a more expensive shotgun mic to compensate for the distance, like you need to play with headphones so that the background noise is minimized, or you need to put the mic in frame and closer to you. So I finally caved and decided putting the mic in frame and closer to my face was the best route to go. Partly because I should lean into the radio voice thing. When the 90s ended, the cultural shift seemed to come with the .com crash, like pets.com crash, and of course September 11th. If I can like look back on my life and I'm like, yeah, that is definitively where things felt different from the 90s, which I grew up in. It's after September 11th and after the .com crash. And that's absolutely when things like musically, culturally, stylistically feel like there was a big shift. Banning my first ever raid. I know merch man. Yeah, I know I should. I just haven't done one yet. I'm so Twitch ignorant that I actually relied on Frogo heavily for the earlier parts of the stream where he was like, "Oh, why don't you have your alerts set up?" And before I even knew what Streamlabs alerts were. I remember when I got my first raid. I've told this story a couple times on this channel, but when I got raided for the first time, I was so convinced that it was a bad thing because, you know, the only time I've ever heard of raid was in the context of 4chan, that I banned the 3 people that raided me. So that's my story of the first time I got raided. I got raided by like 3 or 4 people who started spamming my chat with blank blank raid, and I got the thing that you are being raided by blankety blank. Thought it was a bad thing, banned them all. I'm a very good streamer. Opinions on VLC media player. This might be a hot take. Everything that VLC does, I think there's another program out there that does it better, but that just doesn't have the wide range of format support that VLC has. If you like MP3s, there's a program that's better for playing MP3s than at VLC. If you like MP4s, if you like waves, there's programs out there that are better for playing each of those than VLC. VLC is just great as a backline defense of like, holy shit, nothing else is playing this program. I need it to work right now. And that's how VLC has always been for me. Maybe I'm different in that regard. Bad play conditioning in video games. See, I hate how games like almost condition you to always go the wrong way first, because that's how you make sure you get all the best items. Over the last like 15 years of video games, I want to say, I've been conditioned basically to always prefer the wrong way first, even if it means more battles, because there's almost always secrets at the other end of those battles. There's never just a long dead end tunnel that with nothing at the end of it. Is done for a reason. You don't want to give people a sense of non-fulfillment when they play a game and do a thing, right? You want to make sure people feel fulfilled, but at the same time, it's done this conditioning where if I trigger a story scene, I'm like suddenly paranoid. If I haven't covered all the other branches, like in a dungeon, and I start triggering a cutscene, I'm like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, what have I missed? What have I missed? Because it might be a non-recoverable now. And that's a bad feeling to have, where you're conditioned against wanting to see the story scene. I think it's bad conditioning. Final Fantasy IX in the style of FF7 Remake. Agree with you on that. I was quite a fan of 9, but I'm kind of puzzled by how they should do the remake, because part of the whole shtick of 9 was doing a throwback to the old game. So how would you do a remake of a game that was very deliberately a throwback to, you know, the Super Nintendo era Final Fantasies?
You want to live?
Having a PhD. Yes, I am a real, legit, 100% doctor. Not the medical kind. The more people that learn the PhD fact, the more people are just going to call me doctor, right? I want you to know, chat, you have all called me by my formal title more than anybody in real life has ever called me doctor. The rewards of writing. I am doing a very large writing project right now for my work. I don't talk about work often, but suffice to say, it is taking a lot of mental effort to do so. I'm quite busy, as it were. So I've had to take some stream nights off to do additional writing. Writing is very hard, but it's one of those horrible pains where you're like happy you've done it afterwards. It reminds me a lot of running in that respect. It's not something you... well, I genuinely do enjoy running now, so that's not quite the same, but for a very long time, the joy of running really just came from the joy of having ran rather than the joy of running. But I do get enjoyment out of the act itself now. Writing, I haven't quite hit that nirvana spot yet. Debunking my research. If I won the lottery, I would pay my way into an Ivy League school, study for an additional 8 years, then use that knowledge to go back and peer review and debunk your work. I implore you to do so. Flawed science should be pointed out, and those papers should be corrected. That is the way. That is the way. Weird number fixations. I didn't want to end on an odd number because you don't even know what it is.
No, I don't know what the rule is. Hang on. It has to be even or a multiple of 5?
Yes.
Is there anything else?
Not really.
Okay. So that's the rule. Okay, yeah. No, I just don't know the
evens
rule.
Or a multiple of 5.
I don't follow these rules.
And if you do a prime number, you're absolutely disgusting. Like,
well, apparently
terrible.
I'm disgusting.
7, 13.
Yep. I'll end on
Terrible.
anything. I don't look at what the volume's on in the car.
Prime numbers are not allowed. See, Kylan and I agree on something.
Where are
here.
these rules written? I don't know where these rules are. It's because you're superstitious. Okay, you think it's bad luck.
No.
I'll buy that.
No, not really. I don't know how to explain it, but Kylan understands.
Somebody out there relates to you.
It's not necessarily that it's bad luck. It's odd numbers are prickly. Prime numbers are really spiky, but odd numbers are prickly.
Okay. Yeah, the rules of life. Okay, so Kylan understands that they know where these rules are somewhere. I don't know where.
Even numbers are smooth and round and nice.
I've never imagined them that way.
Okay, this is the content you come here, folks. For, folks. Silverback understands 5 is a unique case and 5 is an allowable odd number. 5 gets a pass. It's rough, but in a pleasant way. It's not spiky and uncomfortable.
Like I said the other week, I have too many things to worry about to think about stuff like that.
Odd numbers are like the mental feeling of pins and needles, and prime numbers are feeling like are fully just agony. And even numbers, along with the rule of 5, are a nice warm bed with a chilled pillow and a nice bowl. Thank you, Kylan perfectly understands. Self-deprecating comments.
I'm trying to remind myself, like, if I take pot shots at myself, there are other people who are earlier in their learning journey than me that might inadvertently feel insulted by that, but I take a strong opinion that you're only ever playing against your past self. What's a good performance for me is not necessarily a good performance for you. And my own opinions about my performance are meant to be relative to my past performance and not meant to be reflective of your skill level. But I also know humans don't think that way, so maybe I should just, not pan myself.
Identity. Enjoying the process of being oneself. It was really, at some point, a weird point in my life where I made the distinction between what I imagined I wanted to be and what I was willing to do to get there. Good example of this is like growing up being a teenager and lamenting the fact that you're not popular. But you also don't want to go out to parties, involve yourself in student council, get involved on the sports teams. What you eventually have to realize is your goals and what you actually enjoy doing are not aligned. I would not have been happy if I achieved popularity because I wouldn't have been doing the things that I enjoyed doing. Reconciling, I want to be famous, but I don't want to promote myself. Well, you don't want to be famous. You like the idea, but you've detached the idea from the process. And if you don't like the process involved in being a thing, then you really don't want to be that thing. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe. I appreciate any support you give. Cheers.